Yeah. Oh, hello, and welcome to Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. I'm so glad you could join us.
That's the kitchen.
Yes, honey, I know it's the kitchen, but it's Mr. Patrick's Laboratory.
Kitchen.
I know, but I call it my laboratory. Safety is always of importance, the utmost importance, but we're not doing an experiment right now, so we're not going to wear our safety goggles. I'm excited that you can be a part of what's going on. In the last few weeks, I've had some friends, and even in the last few days, I've had some friends that are like, hey, what can I do with my kids? Some science experiments, maybe some activities that we can do at home and have a great time. So I thought I would bring my laboratory home and make it Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. It's going to be a great time. I'm glad that you're going to be a part of it. Now, there's a couple things for moms and dads for you to know. We're going to be filming each day live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. So you have a couple of options. You can watch it live with your kids and we can do experiments and have fun together. We're going to do science experiments. We're going to do some math games. We're going to do things for younger kids and older kids. We're going to do all kinds of things and you can watch it live. Or what you can do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can watch it at your own leisure, get your materials together, and the next day you can do it yourself with your kids. It doesn't matter. But I've set it up so that we can have a great time in Mr. Patrick's Laboratory.
Kitchen
Laboratory. But we're going to have a great time. And so I hope you come be a part of that. So I'll make sure you catch that again. It's going to be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we're going to be live and we're going to do some experiments together. You can sign in with some questions if you'd like, and we're just going to have a great time. So before we do anything else for tomorrow, I'm just going to do an experiment today. Here's an idea of some of the things we're going to do. So we're going to do something that older and younger kids both can have a great time doing. So the thing you need to know, parents, is many of the experiments that I'm going to do are going to be household items. You already have them in the shelf. They're not very expensive, and you can do them with your kids. Now, there are going to be a couple of pretty fun things that maybe you don't have at home, but those will be surprises as we go along the way. And shh, don't tell anybody. We're going to have some surprise guests that are going to help me as well. They don't even know it yet, but we're going to have a great time. Here's an experiment for us to do together. Just an ordinary pan. There's nothing in it at this point. We're going to get some water, and we're going to get some cornstarch. Cornstarch is really, really cheap. Most of you probably have it on your shelf. If you make gravy or anything like that, it will thicken up things. My camera person, Christy's helping me. She uses this a lot, and so for different things that you're cooking. So I'm just putting water in the pan. So we're going to bring the camera a little closer. And what we're going to do is we're going to just take a spoonful of cornstarch. We're going to mix this stuff in. And what we're going to end up doing is making something that doesn't really follow the rules that we normally see. Oops, I made a mistake. Got to put my safety goggles on. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make what is called a non-Newtonian fluid. Now, many of us know what solids, liquids, and gases are. Those are pretty easy. We know that solids are hard. Little kids can tell you what a solid is. They can tell you what a liquid is. It's a little harder with a gas. We know that balloons are filled up with gas. But they all have little different properties from one another. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make something that's almost in between. So I used a lot of water here, so I'm going to use some more cornstarch. And what you want to do is you want to get this to where you can use a spoon like I'm doing. Look how that is acting crazy already. And so what we're going to do is we're going to mix that together. And it's going to make a little bit of a Play-Doh type stuff that's somewhere in between a solid, liquid, and a gas. And it's almost got it all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get just a little bit more water. Just a little bit more so that I can mix it all in really good. Now, the cool part about this one is, again, it's called a non-Newtonian fluid. And so for older kids, you can look that up and see what that actually means. But it's going to have some properties that you haven't seen before. Okay? So I'm going to let that just level itself out for a minute. And while it does that, I'm going to grab a piece of parchment paper that I happen to have in this drawer. You can use aluminum foil. It doesn't really matter. You can just use paper. Okay? None of that really matters specifically, but we'll come back to that in a second. And what's going to happen is going to take this liquid, and what we're going to do is we're going to, whoops! Oh, I didn't spill it. Look, it did something different. Watch this. If you had a liquid and you hit it like that, it should splash. But it didn't splash at all. It did this really cool stuff. Watch this. you can pull it out and you can play with it. And so you can make a ball with it like that. Look how cool that is. Okay, look how cool that is. And then all of a sudden, when you stop moving it around, it becomes a liquid. But here's what's really cool. It breaks off. And so it comes off really quick. And so you can grab it up and you can play with it. All of this, you can add water and you can get it off. If you add more water to it, it liquefies. But if you keep it in motion, it will stay a shape. But as soon as you don't, it starts to run. It has properties of not a solid, liquid, or gas. It's not cold, it's not hot, it's room temperature, and you can play with it. This is great for younger kids if they want to play with it. You can get all over your hands, it doesn't matter. You just add a little water and it comes off. Now, I'm wearing safety goggles because I'm trying to be careful at all times. But you'll notice as she gets in real close and we watch right here, you can peel it up, you can play with it, okay? And you can use it over and over. Now, a couple of things for you parents as you go along. Please make sure you catch this if I put this back into this bowl. One time I tried doing this and thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if it was red or blue or green? And that was a great idea until I did it. Now, I want to tell you something, kids. Experiments, when you do experiments, one of the cool things is sometimes they don't work. And it didn't work. And here's what happened. When it got on my hands, which it had mostly water, right? My hand was red and green. And it took all the color out and my hands were green, which I guess is sort of cool, but my mom didn't like it at all. And so one of the things I want you to know is just use water. Now I want to show you another thing as you get really close. As we start digging this stuff out of here, as you dig in with your fingers, you're going to have to make sure it can get under your fingernails and you can play with it and have a great time at all times. But make sure that you are having just an awesome time. All of our experiments, our goal is just to have a great time. Whether you're younger or older, see, it doesn't really matter. It happens to be St. Patrick's Day. That's for mom and dad. But we're going to have a great time. As a matter of fact, watch this. It even changes. Why? Because it's about having fun. Come meet us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We're going to have a great time. Have your mom and dad, parents. Again, these are things we're going to have at home. Let's have a great time together in Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. See you tomorrow.
Kitchen.
In the kitchen laboratory. See you tomorrow.